Hi everyone, and welcome back to Leah Binges, because my name is Leah and I like to binge watch a lot of movies and TV shows. Today I want to talk about the new series Daredevil Born Again, which obviously is the reboot of the TV show Daredevil starring Charlie Cox that originally aired on Netflix for 3 seasons before being canceled. I kind of wanted to wait until the series was done airing. I know it was like the first 3 episodes were released and then there was an episode released every week until it was finished airing. But I kind of wanted to binge the whole series at once. So I waited until it was done airing so that I could watch it all at once and kind of absorb it all at once. So I didn't have to keep going back. For some reason, I'm kind of in the mood right now that I don't really like watching shows as they're being released, like one episode at a time. Like I like being able to talk online with other people and like share our opinions as things are airing. But at the same time, it just kind of becomes like a chore a little bit in my mind. Like I'd rather just sit down and absorb it all at one time. I will also say, I will preface this by saying that I honestly didn't expect much going into the series because it took me so many years to actually get through the original 3 seasons. And it was like 3 different rewatches because by the time I would go back and try and finish it, I would like forget everything that happened. And so I'd start from the beginning and try again and then get bored. Sorry, I know, little spoiler about my opinions, but I would get like kind of bored and then give it up. And then when I would go back, I'd be like, I don't remember anything. I need to start over. So it took me a long time to get through the original series because I did kind of find it boring at times. I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion. I think that was probably the most popular of the original Marvel Netflix shows that aired like however many years ago that was. But I don't know, I just like for some reason couldn't get into it that much. I've also been so kind of tired and disappointed with reboots recently, which I know that's not an unpopular opinion. That's kind of a common belief. And I have said in previous videos, and I probably will continue to say in future videos, that I do kind of have the belief that production kind of needs to let shows go sometimes. Sometimes shows are just better with like 1 or 2 seasons and don't milk it for everything it's worth. And that's kind of where reboots are coming in because like directors and producers and everyone are running out of ideas. And so they're like, well, let's just reboot this other show. Like people loved it, so let's just reboot that. And I'm not the only one online who's getting kind of sick and tired of it. I'm like, give me an original idea. So this was not the case with this one. I ended up enjoying it a lot, but just to say that I went into it not expecting a whole lot. I also wasn't hopeful that the fact that Marvel has kind of been owned by Disney now, and Disney was taking it over rather than Netflix. I wasn't super hopeful about that as well, because Daredevil, the original show, kind of thrived in that like dark and gritty and like moody environment. And I was a little bit worried that Disney was not going to keep up that environment and that air about the show. And then it would just ruin it. Like if they Disneyified Daredevil, it would not have been the same show and just would have been really weird to watch, honestly. I did, however, push through it, and not really push through it because I was going to watch it either way, mainly because I just really like to keep up with what's going on in Marvel these days. But I also really love just Matt Murdock and Daredevil as a character. I also wanted to support Charlie Cox because I'm genuinely so happy for him that he got to continue the character after everything that he put into it. And I said this in my Awesome Con video as well, that I was so lucky to be able to meet him 2 years ago. And he was just so happy to have had played that character that I was like so thrilled to be able to see him in the role again. So those were all positives why like I did want to watch it. Just wanted to keep up with Marvel, wanted to support Charlie Cox and the rest of the cast. And I did want to see the character again. Okay, moving into my cons about the show, there aren't that many. There were more, like as I was scripting this out, there were more than I was expecting there to be, just because I started to get a little bit more nitpicky about things that the show couldn't even really help. So we'll see, we'll see how much of a rant I descend into. But I was overall pleasantly surprised. So I'll get into the pros in a minute because there's a lot to say about pros as well. But I thought I'd start with the cons to kind of get them out of the way. First con is Muse, in my opinion. This was kind of a pro and kind of a con because I was kind of happy that they were focusing on a villain that's not only Kingpin. I'll get into that in a second. But at the same time, maybe this is just because I'm not a comic fan, but he felt a little out of place and his ending felt really rushed and kind of weird to me. Like I said, at least it was a different villain to focus on than Kingpin, but I just kind of wanted more from his character. Like he was just kind of there for most of the season. Then he took Heather hostage for like 2 minutes and then he was dead. And I was like, can we get more from his character? Like, why is he killing people? I don't know. I also did look up his character to learn more after the show because I was trying to figure out kind of why he was included in the show. And I discovered that in the comics, he's like more of an inhuman. And because he like has special abilities, it makes it more difficult for Matt to sense him. But I don't think they showed that in the show. And I kind of wish they did because I think it would give a little bit more about the character and his dynamic with Daredevil. But as is, they didn't really do much with him. They were like, he's a serial killer, and then he was dead like 2 minutes later, is what it felt like. Heather was also just kind of there for me. I liked her in the beginning, but by the end, I just didn't really care. I don't have much to say about her because she was just kind of there. Also, I will say that the second to last and the last episode, it just kind of seemed like she was there to make Matt realize that he was missing Karen. Like when he woke up in the hospital and Heather was there, but he called her Karen. Gagged. And then Karen came back like right after that. So even though they were like so in love with each other, it just didn't seem like they really wanted to do much with that relationship. It was very short-lived, but whatever. Not that much of a complaint, but she wasn't going in the pros. So I felt like I had to put her in the cons just because I was like, she was kind of a big part of the show, but who knows? Okay, now on to my biggest kind of con. And I might be alone in this, but Kingpin is starting to become a little bit annoying and played out, in my opinion. Maybe this has to do with my rewatches of the original show, so like I think I've seen him a lot more than other people have, but I'm just getting kind of tired of seeing him because he was in Daredevil, now Daredevil Born Again, Hawkeye, Echo. It just seems like he keeps popping up in like the Marvel shows. I haven't finished like Iron Fist and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, but I would not be surprised if he was mentioned or showed up in any of those shows, just because I feel like if there's a hero in New York, it seems impossible for them to not come into contact with Kingpin at one point or another. And it's just kind of getting a little annoying, in my opinion. On that note, Matthew Murdock, look at me. Genuinely, what are you doing? What are you doing saving Kingpin's life? Like, are you serious? We could have been done with him, but Matt had to go and make his own life harder. I know it was foreshadowed earlier in the episode with the like, a good man saves his greatest enemy line from Poindexter, but like, how long are we gonna go in circles about this? Like, we already know that he's the enemy and like, is this big bad? And we could have like saved the city by just letting him die. Even Matt, the next episode, like, Frank Castle was like, why did you have to save his life? Like, you could have just let him die and things would have been so much easier. And even Matt was like, yeah, I don't really know why I did that. Dude. I guess it's supposed to be like, oh, because he has his own humanity. This is becoming so unorganized. These thoughts are so unorganized. I know it's because like, it's trying to like have the idea of that he's like fighting his dark side and he's trying to not succumb to his own darkness and he is a good man at heart and like has values and he can't just let Kingpin like get killed in cold blood. But like, we already tried locking him up. Like, he's gonna have to die eventually. So we're just prolonging the inevitable. Matt, what are we doing? Anyway, hopefully that made sense and was not too long and convoluted, because I know I'm kind of jumping back and forth between like, oh, I know why they did this, but also like it was kind of annoying, but also I know why they did this, but also. Anyway, moving on. All right, my next con, honestly, my next two cons are like kind of a me problem, not really a show problem, but like they're still complaints, so I'm still including them. But my second to last complaint / issue is kind of an issue with Marvel as a whole, which also kind of ties into my previous point about the fact that I feel like Kingpin has shown up in way too many things and like it's getting a little annoying. But things are way too convoluted right now in Marvel. There's a constant need to be up to date on anything and everything in order to fully understand and appreciate what is happening in the shows. Like in Daredevil Born Again, we had Kamala/Miss Marvel references with her dad being the bank guy. We had an Echo reference with Kingpin talking about how his protege tried to shoot him in the head. We had like Punisher backstory going on. And then I also saw people online talking about how at the end of this season, Matt made that comment of, we need an army. And I saw people like posting screenshots of his army that he was referencing. And it has like Spider-Man, Moon Knight, Punisher, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage and all that. And like, I enjoyed the Defender show. So like I enjoyed Moon Knight and I love Spider-Man. So like, I love all those characters, don't get me wrong. And I think it'll be a hell of a time watching all of them get together because of one of the pros that I'll talk about. But like, the interactions between characters is kind of the highlight of the show, in my opinion. I do understand that this is also slightly a pro because I love all of the references and Easter eggs because I am someone who keeps up with all of it, but it's also a con because I'm getting a little burned out. Like my memory may be good, but it's not that good. And I'm having to remember all these small little details from all the shows just in case they get brought up later. And I'm like, oh gosh, that one show that I watched like 10 years ago, do I remember what happened? Not really, not really. I'm trying my best here. And then like my dad is kind of a casual watcher of Marvel because we kind of got into it together like a long time ago. And so we'd like see all the movies together. But then now I've kept up with everything and he hasn't. And so we'll be watching something together that I think he'll enjoy. But then I have to like keep stopping the show to like explain the context and backstory for him to like fully understand what's going on and fully appreciate the show, which is a little disappointing. Like, why can't casual watchers still enjoy Marvel? So pros and cons of that. That's why I feel like at all of my cons, I've been like, oh, there's also pros to this, but there's also cons. So we'll get to the pros in just 1 second. One more con and then we'll get there. This last con, again, is more of a complaint about me. I know Marvel can't really do anything about it right now, but I'm not loving the realism right now. I saw this posted online as well, but I don't really want to watch corrupt politicians online anymore. I just don't want to do it. Like, I used to love Marvel because it felt super unrealistic. There was like escapism and you wanted to believe in like the good defeating evil and things like that. I had this complaint with Brave New World as well, that I was like, oh, the main kind of issue was like political corruption and an impending war. And I was like, I don't really want to watch this on my TV. No, thank you. I came to the movies to not think about the real world, and it's hitting a little too close to home for me right now. Daredevil did that as well because we were dealing with like issues like corruption of the Punisher logo, extremism, political corruption, police brutality, cult mindset, etc., etc. And these are all things that we're kind of dealing with in real life right now. I don't want to think about that. I want my TV shows to be separate from real life. Thank you very much. Moving on, because this isn't meant to be a political discussion. Just saying, I hate politics right now. Like, I hate the political state of our world right now, and I would rather my show not be dealing with the same issues that I feel I'm currently dealing with. Totally a me thing, not their fault, because I'm sure they're following whatever the comic storyline is, but at the same time, still a complaint. Still a complaint. I would like to see Kingpin die, please. I don't want him on my screen anymore. Partially because I'm annoyed and partially because I don't want to watch the political corruption anymore. Can we get a different storyline? Anyway, like, why do you have to be mayor? Okay, anyway, I'm moving on now. Couldn't he stay in the business world? Like, he could have stayed in the business world and not been mayor. And I probably would have been fine with that, actually. It's the fact that we had to bring politics into it that I'm like, no, get off my screen. Get off my screen. Anyway, moving on. I'm finally moving on. I promise I'm moving on. Okay. Moving on to the pros. The cinematography of the show will always be a standout to me. The camera shots are so freaking good. And the color grading / the color coding of the scenes is always something that I appreciate. Like the red lighting that they do. Oh, I love it. Chef's kiss. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's something that is so standout about the show. It makes it unique from like the other Marvel TV shows. The other shows are also shot really well. So I don't know how to describe this as well as like it's happening in my head. But I always appreciate that like color grading and color coding because it's all like so dark and moody. But then like you'll have like the red lighting, like you'll have like a shot of Matt's face and there's like red like illuminating half of his face and I will eat it up every single time. I love it. Don't take that from me. I love it. I do know the show has always been good with camera work. Like in the original series, they had that episode that was like a total fight scene, like in the prison, and it was all shot in one take. It was all one shot, and that's freaking amazing. And props to them for doing that. So I know this isn't new. It's always been a thing about the show. But I just like to point it out because it's one thing that I will always love about the show. Every time there was a shot that was like so good, I'm like sitting watching it and I'm like, ah! I'm like, I love it. Like I'm freaking out. That's also another thing that like in other shows, I feel like some people will point out like, oh, the cinematography, the shots, yada, 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 they're so good. And half the time I'm like, okay, but the show needs to live up to the cinematography. Like if the shots are really, really good, but the things that are happening are not keeping my attention, then I don't really care that the shots are really good. But Daredevil has both the good writing and the good shots. And so like when it's working together as one, oh my God, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna stop going in circles about that now. The buildup of this season was also really, really good. It was also, I know I used this already, but chef's kiss. The back and forth of like Matt and Kingpin as they're like slowly descending into their old ways was just so freaking good to me. Like it really showed how alike they truly are. I just really liked it because you'd have like a fight scene and they're like cutting between the two of them, or you are dealing with like Matt having like this internal struggle of like, oh, should I be Daredevil or should I stay like Matt Murdock? Then they'll like cut back to Kingpin and I don't know. I don't know how to properly describe things, but I liked it a lot. I know it was totally on purpose and people online are already talking about it. Even though I already complained about Kingpin being like annoying, at the same time, I just like the back and forth to show like kind of like the two sides of the same coin. Shout out Merlin, but like they're both kind of dealing with this struggle. I just love to see kind of the parallels. I'm going in circles again, and I'm sorry. I don't know how to not go in circles when I'm talking, apparently. This is also kind of the same pro as the one I was just talking about, but Frank Castle / The Punisher, always gonna be one of my favorites. So maybe I'm biased, but he was a highlight of the season for me. Frank Castle, I love you, and I wish I could watch an entire series of just Frank and Matt bickering and bantering back and forth, because they are genuinely so fucking funny together. I can't get over it. It brings kind of like a lighthearted tone that's needed for the show, and again, just kind of shows that like two sides of the same coin type of vibe, because it shows how alike Matt is to Frank, but like he doesn't want to admit it. But then Frank is always going to bring that reality check to Matt's life. Like when we first saw him in episode 4 and he's talking about like, no, this is about Foggy, and Matt's like, it's not about Foggy, and he's like, yes it is, because you're hearing his voice and I hear my kids' voices, and so like I know exactly what you're going through. Meanwhile, Matt's trying to be like, oh no, I'm nothing like you because I'm not a killer. I love it. I love it. This is also partially why, as I was saying, like I'm excited to see them bring in more characters next season. Fingers crossed, hopefully. Matt's banter and relationships and dynamics with everyone else in the show is what makes the show good. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. Like that's also why I really, really enjoyed the Defenders show originally. Like I actually think I liked that better than Daredevil, which was weird because I didn't know the characters that well, but I liked the dynamics between the characters, and I want more of that. I will also say that the bank robbery episode was one of the best of the season, in my opinion, and I also really loved the episode where Matt is like defending Hector, just because I really, really liked the episodes where they had their own unique storyline and own unique focus, but then it was also maintaining like the greater storyline, that like things were kind of intertwined with each other. I just really liked that because it kind of keeps me engaged with the series. Like if we were to go the whole season just purely focusing on like Matt and Kingpin, yes, that was a highlight. But if it was the whole season, I probably would have been like a little bored. Like bringing in Kamala's dad and Hector and even Hector's daughter and Muse, even though Muse I wanted more from, but like it was still a good break from Kingpin so that he wasn't the main focus. Again, another kind of contradiction to my cons, but Kingpin and Vanessa were like really, really good for me in this series, because as much as I said I was tired of seeing Kingpin, which is true, I am. He is so scary and menacing, and like I applaud the actor for his performance that he brings to it every time, because even though I hate him, but like the actor's doing a good job of making me hate him and bringing that like totally scary kind of character to life. So I applaud him for that. The main thing that kind of like amplifies that for me is the last episode when he's like fully descended back into his Kingpin ways and he like pops that guy's freaking skull. And then there was like the shot at the very, very end where Kingpin and Vanessa are having dinner across from each other, and they have that like picture / like wall slab hanging behind them, and it's like Adam's brain blood spatter from when Vanessa shot him. That's so fucking psychotic. Oh my God. It was jaw-dropping to me. Like, I feel like someone's gonna be in my comments going like, oh yeah, well like, of course that's what they did. Like, that's what they do in the comics or blah, 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 blah. Like, but I'm not a comic fan. So I'm just taking things at face value as I see them. And when that shit came up on my screen, I was horrified, I was disgusted, and I was so shocked. At the same time, I love it, and I'm gonna eat it up every single time because I love that a show can make me feel all of that. I haven't felt this way about a show in so long. And so the fact that it kind of brought these emotions back to me, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. That's kind of all my main pros. Moving forward, I would like season 2 right now. I need season 2 right now because I will eat that shit up, okay? And as I just said, a show has not made me feel this genuinely so excited in a long time. And I feel like Marvel has been dealing kind of with a lull with people being like, oh, I didn't really like that, and like, what happened to Marvel? Like, and I've kind of been feeling that too. Like, I felt a little burned out on Marvel. Every so often you get something that I'm like, oh my God, this is really good. But then most of the time you walk out of the theater or of a show being like, okay, why did I watch that? It's been a little disappointing. And so I saw people online being like, we are so back. And I kind of agree with that because I really had a fun time watching this show and I want more now. In season 2, I want more Punisher. We need Frank Castle back in the show. Like, we need Frank Castle in the show as a series regular, not just 2 episodes. He needs to be there every single episode. All hail John Bernthal and the Punisher. Okay. I love that character so much in this show, at least. I want more Matt and Punisher bantering, honestly. I also said this before, but I look forward to seeing Matt's relationship with all the other heroes build as well as he like builds his army, because like I said, I enjoyed the Defenders because of the character dynamics. So I'm looking forward to more of that in season 2, hopefully. Again, I'm not a comic fan, so please no spoilers if you know like what's coming next or things like that. But I also would predict that Hector's daughter is gonna become a vigilante. She's gonna like take up the vigilante role now that Hector has died. I mean, they already kind of left hints about that because she was trying to find Muse and she was trying to get Matt to help her solve her dad's murder. They even had that shot of her in like the last episode that I'm like, yeah, she's definitely going to be more important next season. So I look forward to seeing more of that. Please no spoilers if you already know where they're headed with her storyline. And then I also saw rumors online of the possibility of Foggy's return because like maybe he faked his death and like, did we really see a body and yada, yada, yada. And I am not sure I like that storyline. Like that may be an unpopular opinion. I feel I kind of believe the storyline because I saw an article where like one of the producers was like talking to the media and they had asked about the rumors that Foggy was alive. And he said, sometimes a character is just dead, but I think they would like kill me if I said any more than that. And I was like, that kind of gives us the answer though. Because if you continuing to talk is gonna like be an issue, then clearly there's something to say and there's more there. So I believe the storyline, actually. I do kind of believe it. But I'm just not sure that I like it as a storyline. I'm not trying to say that I'm happy that Foggy is dead, but I didn't love him in the original show. I felt like the entire time that we saw him in the original show, he was just kind of whining at Matt and like trying to get him to stop being Daredevil and hating on Matt's lifestyle and Matt's secrets. And even though Matt was like saving lives, but that's besides the point. That like Foggy's absence and Karen's absence as well gave way for like new relationships and new storylines to build in Daredevil Born Again. And I really enjoyed that. I think part of the reason that I had a hard time getting through the first 3 seasons was that I started to get tired of like kind of the repetitive like trio. That might be a really unpopular opinion, so please don't come for me. Please don't come for me, because it's just my opinion, okay? Please. But so, I'm not happy he's dead because obviously I don't want to see Matt suffer and Matt hurt and things like that. And it was really devastating for Matt to have Foggy die. So like having him come back would be great for Matt and like his character. But at the same time, I'm not sure I really want it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in season 2. I look forward to seeing what they do in season 2 because it's already been renewed to my knowledge. I definitely will be watching it. I don't know if I'll share my opinions online. I probably will, let's be real, because I can't seem to stop myself. But but we'll see what they come up with and we'll see what it looks like. Thank you so much for watching. If you agreed with any of my opinions or enjoyed watching my little rant about Daredevil Born Again, please feel free to give me a like. Leave your own opinions about Daredevil Born Again in the comments down below. Consider subscribing to my channel if you enjoyed this or any of my other videos that I've posted. Which, side note, check those out. If you had a fun time here and want to see more of me, check out the other videos that I've posted. I hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye!